Today's video is going to be kind of like a studio vlog, and we're going to be doing this wholesale order here, as well as just making some of these candles that I just showed with the SP487 and the CDN2s. Just making my list of what I want to make and putting all my oils out here. I always like to put the little sticky tab so I know which scent is what. And then I just go through and fill all the beakers. This one here is the After the Rain candle. This is one of my best sellers. It's the French Lilac and then the Fresh Cut Grass by Candle Science. I'll have my blend in the description for you all. And then this next one here is going to be the Stormwatch candle, which is a blend of sea minerals by Candle Science, as well as Lavender Driftwood by Candle Science. I always like to give those beakers a little bit of a stir. And then I mentioned earlier that I was using the SP487, but I'm actually blending that one with the number 7/CB2/Soy Bliss. There's a lot of different names for it. But I'm doing a 75-25 with 25% of the SP487 and 75% of the Soy Bliss. That wax has become one of my favorites. I'm going to be posting some videos of a lot of the waxes that I've been trying, but it's such a beautiful wax to work with. Pouring out some Golden Girls here, some mango and coconut milk by Candle Science. And the one that you just saw before that was my Florida Sunshine candle, another one of our all-time best sellers. So this is usually my first step when I'm making candles, just getting all my oils done here. And as I'm doing my oils, I have the DG Boil melting down the wax. I usually put the wax that is a little harder to melt at the bottom, and then I fill it to the brim. This thing can make like 150 candles. I always give it a nice good stir too. I need an even longer stick here, but just want to make sure those waxes get nice and incorporated. And then these are the little wick holder things that I made myself just from popsicle sticks. And then I bought like a belt loop puncher thing. And just because I didn't want to invest right off the bat, since I'm still kind of figuring out this exact spacing that I like, I didn't want to invest in anything in terms of setting my wicks. I wanted to be able to have the spacing more flexible. So I will link the products that I used for these in the description box, but it is just a belt loop puncher as well as the popsicle sticks that I got on Amazon. And then this little device up here, some of you had recommended that I use. It is a pancake dispenser, but it works really well for getting precisely where you want, for filling candles and wax melts especially. The way that I like to do it with this wax blend is I let the wax get a little past 200, and then I add in my fragrance oil at that temperature as well, and then I pour pretty much immediately. And I don't tend to get any sinkholes in these tins with this wax, but I think that a lot of people don't, even in tall jars from what I've heard. But I tend to use the tins and then a lot of jars that are wider than they are tall, so I don't have too much challenges with sinkholes in general, I would say. And most of you know that I love my good old stick thermometers. I know a lot of people use the infrared, and I do that too, but when I want to get those really precise temperatures for adding in my fragrance oils, I do tend to use the stick thermometers just because they are much more precise than the infrared. The infrared thermometers do have like a 10-degree air margin, and they do only measure the surface temperature. So I usually get 2 pitchers going at the same time, and then I stir them together. And I stir this wax for at least 20 to 30 seconds, but you can probably even get away with like 20 seconds. incorporates really fast with the fragrance oils. And as I mentioned earlier, the wicks on these guys are double CDN number 2s. I absolutely love the CDN series. They tend to not lean as much as like the HTPs I've found, and they burn a little bit cooler than the Eco wicks. They're going to be a flat braided cotton wick, kind of like the Eco wicks, but the CDN 2s are a little bit smaller than even the Eco 0.75s I've found in terms of the diameter of the wicks. So these ones are the Golden Girls candles, and you all, if you have not smelled this fragrance, oh my goodness, this has been one of my best sellers for the last 4 years, and I don't plan on discontinuing it anytime soon. One thing I want to mention, if you're using SP487, you probably already know this if you tend to test your candles a lot, but I found after using this wax at different percentages, these particular candles, like I said, they're 25% SP487 and 75% of the number 7 / soy bliss / CB2, whatever you want to call it. But I find with that SP487 that it really is great for shipping because it's going to make your wax a little bit harder and it's going to raise that melt point. That said, it kind of like beeswax, and it does contain, I think, a substantial amount of beeswax. But like beeswax, it takes a really long time for the SP487 to set up, and so it can be something that you want to test a couple months later because your candles are going to get substantially more hard. And then this blend here is my beeswax soy cocoa cream that I use with the CD12 wicks for this particular wholesale client. I'll have that blend in the description box. It is my tin blend of my luxury waxes, and I tend to still like to use the gasket gear glue, the high temperature resistant, just to make sure that these wicks don't pop up in the tins. I have really been trying to switch over to the wick stickers, but the tins do burn just a little bit hotter and quicker, and so I like to make sure that the wicks are absolutely adhered and they're not going to come up on you. The CD series, the Cotton Stabilo wicks, are related to the CDNs, but the main difference is that the CDNs curl at a 30-degree angle as opposed to a 60-degree angle with these. And then I'm just back to my other candles here the next day and removing those wicks, those little wick tab things, not wick tabs, wick centering tools that I made. And you can make these pretty much any size candle you want. I've got some really big ones that I've used on triple wick candles that I've played around with, even longer popsicle sticks that I will try to link in the description box as well. And then I am pouring the wholesale order over here. This particular order is using Flaming Candles Cashmere Cedar fragrance. Is what this particular wholesale client wanted. And it uses it at 10%, which is what I would recommend for this wax blend. Could probably hold a little bit more, but I usually cap it at about 10%. And you saw earlier in the video that with this wax blend, I do seal the tins just because the fragrance has a high vanillin content and it will discolor a little bit. And here's the final product. I absolutely love how these candles turn out. These are actually for one of my doctors who gifts them to his patients. For those of you who don't know, I'm transgender, and this client did my facial masculinization surgery 2 years back. These candles are topped with amethyst as well as golden rutile and a little bit of golden lepidolite mica. And that is the final product. Oh my goodness, I love the sleekness of these. And then we're back to my Summer Lovin Collection here. This is how I like to make sure that the crystals stay down. I press them in with my fingers and then I go over them with the torch, and then I just grind a little bit of this golden lepidolite mica on top. Many of you had asked where I get the crystals. I actually go to the Tucson and Denver gem shows, and I source most all of my minerals from those shows, and I would highly recommend them. Here is the final effect, the Ocean Zen. I absolutely adore. This candle is one of my new spa collection scents, and I just love it. And then the Storm Watch has always been one of our classics. This is one of my sister's favorite scents. Again, I'll have my blend posted in the description box if any of you want to try it out. And then the After the Rain candles kind of are like a sequel to the Storm Watch. They come before or they come after the storm. So I always encourage people to try burning them together. And then I am just adding on my top labels here. I do have a video on how I make and design all my labels that I will try to link above, as well as in the description box if any of you want to check out how I do this. I do all my own graphic design, printing, and not cutting, but cutting of my dust covers, but all my graphic design and printing of these labels. And I do use an inkjet printer for these. Now, I do have a laser printer as well that I bought at the beginning of this year, but I tend to use that one more for my black labels, just because the black does tend to smear with the inkjet. And then also for any bath products that I make, I tend to like the laser printer just because it doesn't smear when it comes in contact with water. These candles will give you the best result in my experience with the inkjet, and then I use the weatherproof matte labels from Online Labels. And if any of you want to know the sizes, just leave me a comment and I'm happy to let you know. I just love how these turned out. I'm so proud of this candle. These are the final effects, you all. Oh my goodness. I've got all these listed on the website if any of you want to try them out, as well as my custom blends that are linked in the description box for all of these that are custom blends. Here's the Mint Mojito candle. It's been really popular this year. And the Golden Girls, probably my all-time favorite, and I don't even like fruity scents, you all, but once you smell this, it is to die for. Final effect here with the crystals and the mica. Here is the Island Smudge, which is going to be Pineapple and Sage by Candle Science. And then the Storm Watch, which again is the Lavender Driftwood and the Sea Minerals blend. It's just a classic. Oh, I love it. I love it.